Hello friends, let's see the anterior abdominal wall. The anterior abdominal wall, it is limited above by the xiphoid process and on the each side by the costal margin, and this costal margin, it is going to be formed by the 10th, 9th, 8th and the 7th costal cartilages on each side. And below this anterior abdominal wall, it is bounded by this anterior part of the iliac crest, the fold of the groin, this pubic tubercle, pubic crest, and this pubic symphysis. And on the each side, this anterior abdominal wall extends up to this line, and this is the mid-axillary line. And after the mid-axillary line, this anterior abdominal wall can continue with the posterior abdominal wall. This anterior abdominal wall is firm but elastic in nature, and the firmness, it is responsible for the protection of the viscera which are present within the abdominal cavity, and the elasticity, it is also necessary to provide space while the movement of the viscera during inspiration as well as expiration. This anterior abdominal wall having 8 layers when we see from anterior to posterior side. So when we put incision within the anterior abdominal wall, we can find 8 layers from anterior to posterior side. And let's see these layers in a very simplified figure. The most anterior structure, when we put incision over the anterior abdominal wall, we can find the skin. Below the skin, we find the superficial fascia, and the superficial fascia of the anterior abdominal wall having 2 layers. These are the superficial fatty layer, and the superficial fatty layer, it is also called as the fascia of the camper. And above the superficial fatty layer, we find the deep membranous layer, and this deep membranous layer, it is also a part of the superficial fascia, and it is called as the fascia of the scarpa. Just above this deep membranous layer of the scarpa, no deep fascia is present within the anterior abdominal wall, but the 3 important muscles, they are present on anterolateral aspect of the abdominal wall, while in the midline, one more additional rectus abdominis muscle is also present. And on the anterolateral aspect, we find the 3 muscles from outer to inner side. These are the external oblique muscle along with its aponeurosis. Above it, we find the internal oblique muscle along with its aponeurosis. And more deeper, we find the transversus abdominis along with its aponeurosis. And beneath these 3 muscles, we find one tough fascia, and this fascia, it is the fascia transversalis. And just deep to this fascia transversalis, we find the extraperitoneal connective tissue. And more deeper to this, we find the parietal layer of the peritoneum. So in this anterior abdominal wall, we find there are 8 layers, and these 8 layers, they are the skin, superficial fatty layer of the camper, and the deep membranous layer of the scarpa. Both are collectively called as the superficial fascia. And the external oblique muscle along with its aponeurosis, the internal oblique muscle along with its aponeurosis, the transversus abdominis muscle along with its aponeurosis, and deep to that we find the fascia transversalis, and deeper to that we find the extraperitoneal connective tissue. This is a very important layer in the anterior abdominal wall. And the parietal layer of the peritoneum, that is the part of the peritoneum which is nearer to the anterior abdominal wall. And these 8 layers of the anterior abdominal wall, they reduce to 6th layer near the linea alba, and this linea alba, it is present within the midline of the anterior abdominal wall, and this is going to be formed by the overlapping, or we can say intermingling, of the aponeurosis of all the anterior abdominal wall muscles. This is whitish in color, and that's why the name is alba, linea alba. So near the linea alba, the aponeurosis of all the three muscles, they are fused to form a single layer, and that's why the layers of the anterior abdominal wall near the linea alba, they reduce to 6 in number. So this is all about the layers of the anterior abdominal wall. Now let's see the description of all the different layers in little bit more detail. Now let's see the skin of the anterior abdominal wall. The skin of this anterior abdominal wall, it is more sensitive and thinner than that of the posterior abdominal wall. On close inspection of the skin of the anterior abdominal wall, we can see the horizontally placed Langer's line are there, and within this trunk, these Langer's lines are horizontal in nature, while in case of the limbs, they are usually vertical. And this Langer's line, they are nothing but they are the bundles of the collagen fibers within the dermis. And when the surgeon put incision along the direction of this Langer's line, the scar become very minimal, and that's why this property of this Langer's line, it is useful for the cosmetic surgery in case of the anterior abdominal wall. There are three grooves are there within the skin of the anterior abdominal wall. One groove, it is present within the midline, and this is called as the median longitudinal groove. And this median longitudinal groove, it occurs because of the underlying linea alba. Two more grooves are present, one on each side within the anterior abdominal wall, and this groove, they are passing from the ninth costal cartilage and passes downward and medially and reach just near the pubic symphysis on each side, and these grooves, they are corresponds with the lateral border of the rectus abdominis muscle within the anterior abdominal wall, and these grooves, they are because of the underlying linea semilunaris, and these grooves are very important for the anatomical landmarks. Within the median longitudinal groove, we find one cicatricial tissue, and this is called as the umbilicus, and this umbilicus represents the remnant of the fetal end of the umbilical cord. At the umbilical, in the embryonic life, two important structures are also passes, and these are the vitellointestinal duct as well as the urachus. And this umbilicus lies at the level of the disc between the L3 and L4 vertebrae. The position of the umbilicus in case of adult may vary depending upon the tone of the abdomen, while in case of the children, this umbilicus, it is situated little bit below because of the underdevelopment of the pelvic region, while in case of the old age, because of the loss of the tone of the skin of the anterior abdominal wall, this umbilicus looks little bit more below than that of the adult position. This umbilicus, it is little bit apparently weaker area of the anterior abdominal wall, and this may lead to the umbilical herniation of the structures when the fluid accumulates in the abdominal cavity, or in case of the pregnancy in case of female. The skin near the umbilicus, it is going to be supplied by T10 spinal nerve, and because of the same segmental innervation to the gonads as well as the appendix, the pain of the gonad or the appendix may radiate to the umbilical region, and this pain, it is called as the referred pain. When we draw one imaginary line and it passes through the umbilicus, the lymphatics of the areas above this line, they are going to drain into the axillary lymph nodes of the respective sites, while the area below this line, they are going to drain into the superficial inguinal lymph nodes, and that's why this line, it is called as the watershed line of the abdomen. So involvement of the umbilicus in any disease may lead to the widespread of the infection because of the wide range of the lymphatic drainage from this area. Now within the anterior abdominal wall, at the lower part of the median longitudinal groove, the in case of especially in case of male, the hairs are growing, and these hairs they are going to continue with the pubic hair of the male, and in case of the parous female, due to the stretching of the uterus because of the developing baby within it, the skin of the anterior abdominal wall they get unduly stretched, and this will lead to the fibrous degeneration of the subcutaneous tissue. And after the pregnancy is over, the females may develop on the both the side of the abdomen such a irregular branching pattern of the skins, and these are called as the stria gravidarum. So this is all about the skin of the anterior abdominal wall.